The removal of the multi-use games area behind Godwin Crescent is an area of concern for the people of Somers Town due to its varying and possible impact on current urban inequalities. According to the development plans for the site, the removal of the basketball court and 2 mature trees is set to begin in April 2024 to make room for 10 new homes for those on Camden Council's housing list. While the building of social housing is a step forward to reduce urban inequalities, there are wide implications for the locals at Godwin Crescent. We shall be critically and ethnographically exploring the environmental, social and economic implications of this planned build, whilst also assessing its sustainability impact, both at a local level and a wider borough and city level.
Urban green space provides environmental benefits such as cooling effects, better air quality and a reduction in flooding. The London Sustainable Development Commission recognises that environmental improvements and sustainable practices play a crucial role in addressing inequalities. For example, enhancing energy efficiency can alleviate fuel poverty, addressing the disproportionate impact of poor air quality on already disadvantaged communities. Additionally, improving the quality and equality of access to green spaces is essential for enhancing overall health and well-being, as well as increasing resilience to heat waves and flooding resulting from climate change. Somers Town, our area of study, is of particular interest in relation to these factors, as it has the least open space in Camden, a proportionately high child population density and thus high housing density, and arguably less access to high-quality parks, are disproportionately located in wealthier neighbourhoods. Thus, although the play area only available to a small portion of Somers Town residents, this will still bear significance on the overall disparity among Somers Town and other boroughs. Many residents have objected to the plans, with local councillor Andrew Parkinson arguing there is no replacement being provided, which is contrary to policy. All that's happening is existing space being spruced up. Furthermore, Councillor Paul Tomlinson stated, "The loss of the multi-use games area is not welcome, nor is it mitigated," adding, "I think this development is in the wrong place. It is admitted that it adds to the density of housing in the area. Residents will experience a feeling of more overcrowding. It is estimated that the proposed plans will provide housing for 60 people in total, which will inevitably have an impact on overcrowding in the area." Interestingly, although Somers Town has a high child population density, it does have a low population density at 70.6 people per hectare compared to the borough as a whole, which has 105.4 people per hectare. Additionally, Camden's neighbourhood profile reports that of the Somers Town residents, 92.7% of homes have access to a local small or pocket park, and 100% of homes have access to nature. Thus, one may argue that the extra housing in a housing crisis is welcome. However, Somers Town population is set to grow 47.4% by 2028, which is 3 times more than Camden's expected population growth as a whole. If this is true, then the loss of this open game space becomes even more unwelcome within Somers Town, as this overcrowding spoken of by the local councillor will affect both noise pollution, air pollution, and diminish the quality of the available open green spaces. The drastic increase in population density shall also cause problems with transportation. Somers Town is already home to one of the most polluted roads in the UK, Euston Road, which causes 20% of nitrous oxides pollution in the area. The report of Somers Town air quality by UCL stated that tree filtration in inner London removes approximately 11 tonnes of carbon monoxide. The study also named major construction sites as a key factor in increasing long-term PM10 concentrations. Somers Town is bounded by highly polluted A roads, including Euston Road, as well as St Pancras and Euston stations, which means that most of the area has proportionately high levels of nitrogen dioxide and high levels of health-harming particulates, as reported by Somers Town Neighbourhood Plan regarding air quality. Somers Town has experienced notable developments, including the completion of the Francis Crick Institute and ongoing projects like the Central Somers Town Community Investment Programme, Phoenix Court Energy Centre expansion, and the construction of Maria Fidelis Catholic School. Concerns arise from the ongoing redevelopment of Euston Station, British Library expansion plans, and major construction activities related to Argent's King's Cross regeneration and High Speed 2 or HS2 projects. The cumulative impact of these developments is thus causing air quality in Somers Town to worsen and deteriorate. The construction of these new homes is likely to raise concerns among residents in the area. Specifically, there are potential issues with the development obstructing the existing walk and cycle paths around the current games area. This would result in the loss of green space for bike storage and pedestrians, while also contributing to an increase in the population density of the area. Given that only 2.5% of Somerstown residents reportedly use bicycles to commute, a figure significantly lower than the borough of Camden's average, it is reasonable to anticipate that this construction project could worsen the already existing air pollution problem in Somerstown. This would be due to the additional strain on transportation infrastructure. Consequently, these developments may intensify the environmental and health inequalities that are already prevalent in the area.
Focusing now on the community aspect of this build, it is worth acknowledging that accessible, green and open space provides residents with important physical and social benefits, such as place to exercise and to meet friends and neighbours. London's green and open-air spaces have significant well-being benefits, and was estimated in 2017 to avoid healthcare costs of £952 million per year. This comprises £370 million per year saved on mental health costs and £582 million physical health savings. The latter is because exercise combats disease risk, which is crucial, as 21% of Year 6 primary school children in Somerstown were reported to be obese. Additionally, 7.8% of working-age adults in Somerstown are economically inactive due to ill health, as opposed to Camden's 4.4%. The removal of this green space at Godwin Crescent therefore may have further effects in relation to the well-being of the local community. According to a further study conducted by UCL and Somerstown locals, it has been shown that green spaces lead to a reduction in the stress hormone cortisol, blood pressure and heart rate. Many people report that their mental health and general mood improves with exposure to green spaces. A report by the University of Edinburgh found that green spaces in large cities lead to a reduction in crime rates relating to property vandalism, burglary and arson. Camden has an annual total crime rate of 252.3 per 1,000 population, which can be rated as 8 out of 10 or high crime level. The removal of safe, open green spaces and overpopulation with new development plans in Somerstown could therefore potentially contribute towards heightened crime rates. These stats suggest the importance of preserving sports facilities and open public spaces within Somerstown specifically. Having acknowledged this inequality, however, it is reported by London Borough of Camden Open Space, Sport and Recreation Study Update that demand for sports halls is met in Somerstown by a supposed 202.3%. Equally, reports suggest Somerstown residents are not considered deficient in open green spaces, as 100% of residents live within 400 metres of such a space. However, a nuanced perspective emerges when examining the quality rather than just the quantity of available sports facilities. While it seems that the demand for sports facilities is met in terms of quantity, the previously mentioned health statistics suggest that focus should shift to the quality of these spaces. This aspect will be further explored in our given context. When questioned about their feelings towards the MUGA's demolition, some residents at Godwin Court stated that their children, as well as others, would consequently have to go further in order to play with their friends and engage in certain sports. Somerstown Neighbourhood Plan acknowledges that residents are loyal to their own estate and facilities, such as play space and community gardens, and these represent valuable social and cultural capital. The loss of this play space therefore will have an effect on community sustainability. According to the Somerstown Neighbourhood Forum, locals have expressed concern at the fact that their children will have to go to other areas in Camden to socialise and play in outdoor spaces. It is clear that Somerstown is a small, tight-knit community, and the MUGA has been a safe space for families to play after school within the boundaries of their community. Therefore, many parents feel their children won't be safe if they need to travel further afield to unknown areas of Camden to play. If parents are discouraged to let their children play in other parts of Camden, this could contribute to the already established health inequalities within Somerstown. One could argue, however, that this should not be too much of an issue, as there are surrounding green spaces which are protected, such as Oakley Square and Goldington Crescent. However, upon our visit, it is clear that these spaces are not equipped to substitute as a game space for children. Oakley Square is the biggest of the two, located approximately 350 metres away from Godwin Court, labelled D on the map. Whilst it is generous in green space, with many mature trees and raised beds, it is clear that it is used mostly as a place to sit and pass through. It also would not be large enough to facilitate for larger groups to gather for games. Goldington Crescent is located closer to St Pancras, labelled E on the map, and is significantly smaller in size. It has limited green space and a small number of mature trees. It appears that this space is only used as a walkway. The London Sustainable Development Commission also suggests that there are many green spaces within London which are underutilised and of poor quality. It further recognises that if these were improved, they could play a much more valuable role as places for relaxation or play for local residents, especially children. The ethnographic work conducted in Goldington Crescent and Oakley Square highlight that although SOMERS Town residents are statistically sufficient in green space, it appears that focus should be on their quality rather than the quantity. Thus, this loss of open game space is significant to the residents as it perpetuates this inequality further, impacting community sustainability and cohesion, and discouraging play which impacts residents' well-being as previously explored.
This building plan is outlined and explained within the SOMERS Town Neighbourhood Plan. SOMERS Town is one of the many boroughs in London guided and informed by the overarching London Plan, which too is influenced by the London Sustainable Development Committee. These citywide initiatives aim to apply the UN Sustainable Development Goals to achieve good growth. It is worth exploring some of the policies that this plan bill does adhere to, and thus qualifies under the London Plan as good growth. A. It succeeds in utilising a small site. B. It succeeds in utilising a site that's well connected by public transport, in the case of SOMERS Town, including Euston Road and St Pancras. And C. Intensifies the use of land to support additional homes and workspaces. But in the context of SOMERS Town, such an application may be inappropriate. It feels as though given all the information discussed here, good growth may be contextually and spatially subjective. As this bill adheres to these policies, the borough may argue that legislatively, it would be considered good growth, meaning it is environmentally, socially, and sustainably conscious. However, as previously explored, it is a given that the removal of green spaces in order to build new housing in SOMERS Town will still have adverse social and health effects for locals. So far, there is no reporting available on whether or not the green area will be replaced, and if so, where it will be. This is particularly important as Camden's Open Space Recreation and Sports study conducted in 2018 suggested that within the borough, just 57% of all demand for sports hall facilities is satisfied. This similarly neglects the city's needs, whereby 62% of Londoners surveyed in May 2020 thought protecting and enhancing green and recreational spaces should be a higher priority after the lockdown. Thus, the removal of this MUGA facility in replacement for housing could arguably exacerbate the inequality of access to open, recreational space, which is of great importance to communities. Furthermore, the Supplementary Plan and Guidance, or the SPG, state that standards should link to play and open space strategies and reflect local circumstances and needs. Although it could be argued that it does indeed fit the needs of SOMERS Town, more must be done outside of these rebuilds to ensure health standards increase and community cohesion is maintained.